Rottweilers. To a lot of people, they're a symbol of fear, a stereotype built from scary headlines and Hollywood movie villains. They're seen as powerful, intimidating, and extremely aggressive. But what if I told you the true 2,000-year-old story of loyalty? One that starts with the Roman army's absolute need to protect its walking food supply. For 2 millennia, this bloodline has worked side by side with people as a steady guardian, a tireless worker, and a brave friend. These dogs have marched with armies, guarded merchants, pulled butchers' carts, and nearly vanished from the planet. This is the incredible journey of how Rome, Italy's most important four-legged asset, was forged in Germany, and how that history got mangled into one of the most unfair stereotypes in the dog world. It's time to see the Rottweiler in a whole new light. Before we get started, consider subscribing to our pet-loving community for more fascinating insights on dog breeds, myths, and misinformation that circulates in our society. Let's spread the word about this gentle and loyal breed. The ancient Rottweiler of Rome. Our story starts over 2,000 years ago with the ever-expanding Roman Empire. As Roman legions marched across Europe, they had a huge logistical problem: how to feed thousands of soldiers on the move. The solution was a living, breathing food supply which consisted of massive herds of cattle. But those herds were easy targets for predators and thieves. To protect this critical resource, the Romans used a tough Mastiff type of dog. These were the ancestors of the Rottweiler. They weren't pets, they were essential gear, as vital as a soldier's sword. Their job was brutal. Day after day they marched for miles, pushing cattle, fighting off wolves, and guarding camps at night. These dogs were bred for one purpose: to be strong, smart, and fiercely protective. They had to be tough enough to handle huge cattle, intelligent enough to follow commands, and brave enough to face any threat. They are especially suited to move stubborn livestock that simply would ignore other dog breeds such as Border Collies and Kelpies. Rottweilers would use their bodies to physically force the stubborn animal into action if necessary. As the Romans pushed north, they crossed the Alps into what is now southern Germany, bringing their indispensable dogs with them. Eventually, the empire fell and the legions left, but their dogs stayed behind, forever changing the local dog population and setting the stage for a legendary new breed to emerge. The butcher's dog of Rottweil, Germany. Let's fast forward a few centuries to the Middle Ages. The legacy of those Roman dogs found a new home in a busy German market town called Rottweil. It became a thriving hub for the cattle trade, and here, the descendants of the Roman dogs found a new purpose. After mixing with local dogs, they evolved into a distinct and respected breed, perfectly suited to the town's needs. They became so connected to the local trade they earned a name, the Rottweiler Metzgerhund, or Butcher's Dog of Rottweil. And these dogs were the ultimate multitaskers. A butcher's Metzgerhund herded stubborn cattle to market with a presence so powerful that even large bulls backed down. After the cattle were sold, the dog's work wasn't done. They were hooked up to carts filled with meat, using their incredible strength to haul goods to customers. But their most legendary job was acting as a four-legged bank. Yes, a bank. After a good day at the market, butchers would put their earnings in a leather pouch and tie it around their Rottweiler's thick neck for the journey home. A thief would have to be insane to try and grab a bag of coins from a dog like that. This tells you everything you need to know about their temperament. Not mindlessly aggressive, but dependably protective, intelligent, and completely trustworthy. The Rottweiler was a partner, a worker, and a guardian that was fine-tuned over centuries of hard work. A breed on the brink of extinction. For centuries, the Rottweiler Metzgerhund was a key part of life in Germany, its existence defined by its usefulness. But then, the world changed. The Industrial Revolution brought the railroad, and the very progress that once carried their ancestors across the Alps now came to a screeching halt and threatened to wipe them out. Suddenly, the ancient practice of driving cattle long distances was obsolete. A train could move livestock in a fraction of the time. The Rottweiler's main job seemingly vanished almost overnight, and as demand for them dried up, so did their numbers. By the late 1800s, the breed that had served people for nearly 2,000 years was on the verge of extinction. The decline was frightening. Things got so bad that at a dog show in Heilbronn, Germany, in 1882, there was only one lone poor example of a Rottweiler to be found. The story of the butcher's dog was dangerously close to its end, a casualty of a modernizing world. The breed's survival now rested on a handful of passionate people who refused to let them be forgotten. The Rottweiller Revival. Just as the Rottweiler was about to become a footnote in history, a group of German enthusiasts stepped in, determined to save the breed's incredible qualities. In the early 20th century, breed clubs were formed to preserve the Rottweiler and create a formal standard. Clubs like the Rottweiler and Leonberger Club in 1901 helped establish the first breed standard, solidifying the breed's identity. The Deutscher Rottweiler Club, DRK, was founded in 1907, also setting a crucial foundation for the breed's future. This revival couldn't have been timed better. As the world headed toward conflict, the very traits that made the Rottweiler a great butcher's dog with intelligence, courage, and loyalty also made them perfect for new lines of work. During World War I and II, Rottweilers were recruited for military service. These canine soldiers served as messengers, running through dangerous terrain, as guard dogs protecting key positions, and as draft dogs pulling carts, just as their ancestors had done in Rottweil, Germany. This new role proved the breed's amazing versatility. They were no longer just cattle herders, they were now soldiers, police dogs, and rescuers. Their performance under pressure showcased their calm, confident nature and high trainability. The wars, while devastating, helped bring the Rottweiler to the world's attention, securing its future and giving its ancient spirit of service a new purpose. The Rottweiler's journey from the edge of extinction to a celebrated working dog is an amazing story of resilience. This breed's entire spirit is built on a history of service. If you think this incredible legacy deserves to be heard, do us a favor and hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the histories of the world's most fascinating dogs. Your support helps us fight stereotypes and continue to spread the truth. The modern Rottweiler scapegoat and stereotype. After the wars, the Rottweiler's reputation as a top-tier working dog soared. Their intelligence and steady nerves made them a favorite for police canine units, search and rescue teams, and even as service animals. In fact, heroic Rottweilers were among the search and rescue dogs at disaster sites like the Oklahoma City bombing and the World Trade Center collapse, proving their stable temperament and dedication. Speaking of unrivaled loyalty and dedication, here are a few famous Rottweilers you may not know about who performed truly heroic acts that speak of their innate character. First up is Eve, who pulled her paralyzed owner, Kathy Vaughn, from a burning van in 1991, saving her life and protecting her from the flames. Next we have Dieter, who was a service dog for Vietnam veteran Neil Williams. He helped with mobility and advocacy, and even traveling to DC to support disabled veterans' rights, reported by American Kennel Club. Then we have Kuno, a large, self-trained service Rottweiler known for wheelchair assistance, item retrieval, and transfers, whose social media presence raises awareness about accessibility. Next, we have Wind, an award-winning therapy dog, serving veterans and in reading programs, proving Rottweiler's gentle and ambassadorial roles. And lastly, from across the pond we have a fascinating story of heroism from a 2-year-old Rottweiler named Jake, who was out walking one morning with his owner Liz Maxted Bluck when they heard screams. Jake chased the man who molested a woman in July 2009. Jake chased the attacker and led his owner to the scene of the crime where he stood over the victim and attacker until police arrived. The attacker was convicted and served 4 years for attempted rape. Jake was nominated and given a medal by the police for his bravery after the incident. Way to go, Jake! Are you in love with Rottweilers yet? Comment below if you have a heroic story to share. Now we come to the part where things shift into a downward spiral. As their popularity exploded in the late 20th century, a darker story began to take shape. The very qualities that make them amazing guardians, such as their strength, confidence, and protective drive, became twisted by public perception. Sensational media headlines and their constant casting as the villain's dog in Hollywood movies created an unfair stereotype. The media increasingly portrayed them as unpredictable, aggressive monsters, and not as the protectors they had been for thousands of years. But the story gets worse. Ridiculous myths continue to fuel this bad rap. You've probably heard the nonsense about them having locking jaws or being naturally vicious for no apparent reason. These claims clearly ignore the truth, which is, a dog's behavior comes down to training, socialization, and ownership, and not some unavoidable breed-specific flaw. Experts agree that a well-raised Rottweiler is no more prone to aggression than many other popular breeds. The problem is rarely a bad dog, but an owner who is unprepared for a powerful and intelligent animal. This scapegoating has had very real consequences, leading to housing restrictions, breed bans, and good dogs being abandoned out of fear and misinformation. The gentle giant unveiled. So let's talk about the real Rottweiler, away from the headlines and Hollywood myths. When you peel back the stereotypes, you find the gentle giant that owners have always known and loved. The true nature of a well-bred, properly raised Rottweiler is one of calm confidence. They aren't hyperactive. They have a self-assured aloofness, preferring to watch and observe before they act. This imposing guardian completely transforms with their family. They're known for being incredibly affectionate and often behave like giant lapdogs, with no idea how big they actually are. Many owners will tell you about the Rotty purr, which is a low, rumbling growl that is a sign of pure contentment, not aggression. This breed is also deeply intuitive and often senses their owner's emotions, offering quiet comfort when it's needed most. They are also incredibly smart, as natural problem solvers who are eager to please and love having a job to do, whether it's in a dog sport, learning tricks, or just being a loyal companion by your side. The gentle giant personality isn't a fluke. It's a direct product of their history. A dog bred to be a reliable partner and trusted with a butcher's life savings couldn't be unstable. It had to be discerning and loyal. They don't protect because they're aggressive. They protect because they love their family. From the muddy trails of a Roman legion to the living rooms of modern families, the Rottweiler's 2,000-year-old story is one of unwavering service. These dogs are living history, a breed created through work, loyalty, and a powerful bond with humanity. Their ancestors guarded the food that fed an empire. Their medieval counterparts protected the livelihoods of an entire town. And their modern descendants have saved lives in disaster zones and served as devoted companions to millions. The stereotype of the aggressive monster is a modern invention and a deep injustice to a breed with one of the longest and most noble histories in the dog world. The Rottweiler is proof that a guardian's heart is, at its core, a loving one. They are powerful, absolutely. They are protective, you bet. But these traits were always meant for a purpose, to serve and protect their people. And understanding their history is the key to seeing their true nature, that of a brave, intelligent, and profoundly loyal gentle giant. What do you love most about Rottweilers, or what part of their history surprised you? Share your stories and thoughts in the comments below, because we always read them all. And for more videos that challenge the stereotypes about our four-legged friends, make sure you've subscribed and hit that notification bell. Watch our Pet Myths and Media playlist next. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.